Hey cruisers, I'm just back from my first Virgin Voyages cruise, and if I'm being totally honest with myself and with you, I wondered if this was going to be the right cruise experience for me. I had a lot of questions before I went on this cruise. I was wondering if I was going to feel super old on the ship, if I was going to feel uncool, if I was going to feel out of place. So first of all, a little bit about me. If you don't know me, my name's Sherry. I'm with cruisetipstv.com, and I've been on over 50 cruises, and I'm 51 years old. I am the mom to a 15-year-old boy. I am married. And generally speaking, I go on cruises that are more family oriented. So this Virgin Voyages cruise was a little bit different for me, and I did not know what to expect. So today I'm going to share my thoughts on the ship, on the food, the entertainment, and the ports, which were beautiful, by the way. And you're going to want to stay to the end for 5 things that I learned on Virgin Voyages that I really didn't know before my cruise. And of course, I'm going to share with you kind of my verdict on how I felt like I fit in on Virgin. But let's start with the ship itself. One of the things I really liked about Valiant Lady, which was the cruise ship that I was on, is the size. It's a little bit smaller than a mega ship. It's like a 2,700 person ship, and the aesthetic is absolutely gorgeous once you're on the ship. If you've seen photos of Virgin ships before, the first thing you might think is, oh man, they look so sterile. There's so much metal. It looks like IKEA. And I gotta tell you, when you get on the ship, you find out immediately that that is not true. There's a lot of greenery. The decor is actually really warm. It's very, very pretty, and it's just not what I expected at all. Now, the ship is a little bit complicated to navigate when you're first getting used to it. I think some people get a little confused about where the galley is up on deck 15 because you have to kind of walk through the pool deck if you don't hit it at the right area of the ship. But like most cruise ships, you kind of end up getting used to it over time. So for me, the ship is like a 9 out of 10. Awesome. Very, very cool. Let's talk a little bit more just about kind of the overall decor on the ship. So when you see pictures of the ships, they look very gray from the outside and they look sort of industrial, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, is this just like, is it going to feel sort of cold? And the truth is it's not. There's a lot of places that are very living roomy. There's a lot of seating that's like almost like bed seating. That's a bit controversial. Some people love that kind of seating. Other people don't. They find it a little more uncomfortable. I found that people were using it quite a bit, really spreading out. So really nice. Now, one of the things that's a bit of a bummer on these ships, that's no surprise to anyone, is that the pool's a little bit small on Virgin. So there's really comfy seating out there. You've got like the beautiful padded loungers and things. But if you want like a place by the pool, you're probably going to have to get out there pretty early. That's one thing you should be aware of. Okay. So that's my thoughts on the ship. Let's talk about my stateroom and one of my favorite parts of my entire Virgin Voyages experience, because this was another one of those things where when I saw people's photos and videos of Virgin ships before, I thought they looked so basic, almost kind of minimalist, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, and I didn't know what I was going to think. This is another area I was completely blown away with. So I stayed in what's called a sea terrace. A sea terrace is just a standard balcony. I did not stay in an extra large sea terrace. It wasn't a suite. It was just a normal sea terrace balcony. When you first walk into these rooms, you're going to see the bathroom on your right-hand side. It's a really big shower with 2 shower heads. You have a handheld shower head, and then you have a rainforest one that comes straight down on your head. Pro tip, if you're cruising on Virgin, make sure that you practice the controls before you get in that shower, or you may end up with water on your head from the rainforest shower, because you have to turn the knob one way for rainforest and the other way for the handheld. And I doused my head twice before I figured it out. So just something to be aware of. So bathroom is really nice. Then on your left-hand side, you've got the closet. I'll be doing a full stateroom tour later, but I would just want you guys to kind of see the basics here. They have enhanced the closets with curtains. They've added some baskets for storage. There's shelving and there's a full safe, and there's awesome non-slip hangers in there. The hangers looked really basic when I got into the cabin, but then I realized they were amazing because nothing slides off of them. And I had really slippery clothes. I had like swim cover-ups, dresses, stuff like that, and it just did not slide off. Then you move into the room and you have like your little vanity area, and the vanity is like a small desk with a vanity mirror, and then you have like a little iPad type device that controls the movies that you can watch on your TV, and it also controls the mood lighting in the room and whether or not you have your curtains open or closed. That is a very fun feature. They have all kinds of different moods, whether you wanted to do photo shoot or more of an evening one. I'll leave that to you if you're going on the ship to be surprised by that, but it's awesome. Then you have a second full-length mirror in the room that's over on the wall by the little chair that you can sit in and just chill. And then there's the bed. I found the bed to be super comfortable. I actually kind of liked that it was a little lower to the ground. It's something that I noticed right when I walked in. I was like, wait a minute, this bed's a little lower, but I kind of liked it. It was great. And then, of course, you have the absolute best part of any Virgin Voyages cruise, which is the hammock on the balcony. I mean, if there was any way that I could say I want a hammock in every single balcony on every cruise I go in for the rest of my life, I would do it, because this is the place you want to be. You are going to fall in absolute love with the hammock. They are fantastic and so comfortable. And I really, even on the first day, I did not want to get out of mine. So I have to say, I've really loved my sea terrace. I was blown away by how comfortable it really was compared to what it looked like when I saw it. And there's only one thing I either didn't figure out or I didn't like. I don't know which one it is yet. I was only on this cruise for 4 nights, but I couldn't find a light that was around like the vanity mirror at the desk. And so I had to put my makeup on in the bathroom, which I kind of consider to be a bummer because I like to sit at a vanity. It might be that I just never found the light switch, because there's kind of light switches all over. There's light switches by the bed. There's light switches in the closet. You can control the lights on the iPad. Maybe I just never figured it out, but hopefully that's something that they can add a little bit later. Now we have to talk about the food, because anyone who has heard anything about Virgin has probably heard that the food is probably some of the best in the industry, and they kind of disrupt the industry with their food. So basically the way the food works on Virgin is there's no specialty dining. Everything is included. Every single restaurant is included in your cruise fare. So you have specialty-ish kinds of dining things, like you have a steakhouse, you have a Korean barbecue, you have an Italian place, but everything is included. So here are the restaurants that I tried and what I thought about them. My favorite was the Wake. It was the steakhouse. It is open for brunch and it was open for dinner, and it was phenomenal. I had a great filet mignon. If you go, they do have one upcharge item, I think, on the menu there, which is the seafood tower. We actually got 2 seafood towers for our table and we totally obliterated them. So the Wake was my favorite restaurant on board. We also tried Extra Virgin, the Italian place. That was really yummy too. Wasn't really my favorite compared to the Wake, but you know, everybody's going to find that food is very subjective. I also tried Razzle Dazzle. Razzle Dazzle is kind of an interesting restaurant. They have some healthy things, but then they have naughty food. I totally went the naughty route. I started off with a healthy green goddess salad, then I had fried okra and fried green tomatoes, because all of you told me to get the fried okra, and I had fried chicken for my meal. It was so good. So I enjoyed Razzle Dazzle, but still I have to say, the Wake was kind of up there a little higher. And then the last specialty that I tried on this one was pink agave. This is the Mexican food concept for Virgin Voyages. Is a little bit different though. They serve you small bites like guacamole, street corn, enchiladas, all kinds of really yummy starters that you can share. And then you pick an entree. I tried the pork and it was great. And then I had a bread pudding for dessert, and their cocktails there are to die for. So pink agave was my second favorite. The Wake was my first favorite. And then of course, they have the galley. The galley is in a location that you would normally find a buffet restaurant on any cruise ship, right? So it's kind of up by the pool deck-ish. It's on deck 15. It has big, beautiful windows, and you can go there to eat pretty much any time of the day, right? But it's not a buffet restaurant. You don't serve yourself. It's more like a food hall. You have individual stations. You have like a taco area, a noodle area, an American diner where you can get all kinds of omelets, burgers, stuff like that made to order, which is really super great. And they also have bento boxes, and they have a salad bar. They have a coffee bar. They have a bread bar, dessert bar, you name it, they probably have it up at the galley. And I spent the great majority of my breakfasts and lunches there. Hot tip on the dining though, you guys, if you are cruising with Virgin, 45 days before your cruise, you must make those dinner reservations for Extra Virgin, for the Wake, and for pink agave. I found that Gun Bay, Razzle Dazzle, those, and the Test Kitchen, those did not sell out as much. So if those are the restaurants you want to go to, you might be okay once you get on the ship. But if you're wanting to go to the Wake and Extra Virgin and pink agave, please make your reservations 45 days out. Like, mark your calendar, be on it the day that you pass that 45 days until sailing. Let's talk about the ports. I failed to mention earlier that this was a 4-night cruise. It just had 2 stops, Key West and Bimini. We had so much fun in both. In Key West, I had never been to Key West or Bimini before, but in Key West, our group, I was on a press trip. We went to a restaurant out at the Reach Resort called the Four Marlins Restaurant. I took an Uber both ways. It's about 1.2 miles, so you could actually walk it. I just didn't want to get hot and sweaty and didn't feel like walking, so I took an Uber. The food was absolutely phenomenal. We started with conch fritters. We had salads after that. We then had a choice of fish tacos or several other things. There were poke bowls. I opted for like a club sandwich, and then they brought some shareable desserts. They also had cocktails. It was a little too early for me to try the cocktails there, so I went with like a spritzer, kind of like a club soda with lime on repeat, and just enjoyed the beach area afterwards. This is a great hack if you're going to Key West. Maybe you've been to Key West a million times and you're done doing the sightseeing and you just want to go to a beautiful restaurant inside of a beautiful hotel on a glorious beach. Go to Four Marlins. It is to die for. That's all I did that day in Key West. It was pretty crowded. There was a pretty long line to get back onto the ship as well. Everybody pushes it till the very end of the day. You know, like 4:30 all aboard time. You had everybody outside and they only had one gangway open. So it was a bit of a line, but I just worked on some things on my phone and stayed nice and cool because there was a beautiful breeze and I was totally happy. In Bimini, wow, Bimini is beautiful. I love the Bahamas. I love that blue water down there, and Bimini does not disappoint. Our group actually did a stingray swim in Bimini, so this was a shore excursion offered through Virgin Voyages. I think it was about $120 a person. And we took the golf cart from the ship to the shore excursion area, which is just on the other side of the lagoon, kind of at the end of the dock. You could easily walk this as well if it's not too hot of a day, but I was in a bit of a hurry, so I took the little tram. They also have golf carts if you're in the Rockstar suites, but I took a tram. And then we took a boat over to a little deserted island that's about 45 minutes away from Bimini, and we got to go in the water with the stingrays. We didn't really swim with them. It was more like wading at knee length. The water was pretty rough that day, so there weren't an enormous amount of stingrays that came out, but it was really cool. The water was beautiful. And again, if you're looking to do something different in Bimini, if you don't want to just go to the beach club, you could do that. Then we came back, hopped on the tram, went over and checked out Bimini Beach Club. We did get to check out the Rockstar area, which is like the private club, but I didn't really stay there for very long because the food is the same there as it was at the main area. The difference is they bring it to you over in the Rockstar area. So if you have a Rockstar suite, you can go over to that area. But honestly, there's so many beautiful beach chairs and like places by the pool to chill that you don't really need to have Rockstar access to have a great time. I found it to be pretty crowded that day. The ocean was too rough to swim in on Bimini. That's probably why it was rocky for the stingrays too, but I heard there was a pretty bad rip current, but the water was absolutely beautiful and the pool looked like a really super fun party. Everybody was hanging out on those cool rafts that you see on Instagram and enjoying cocktails. If you have a bar tab, it also works at Bimini and it's a lot of fun. And the food is good. It's not traditional cruise food that you're going to find on an island. You're not going to get burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. You're going to get Caribbean food. So they have a few selections, a few salads. They have a jerk chicken, some rice and beans, some fried plantains, I think, and some dessert. So you have limited selection, but I found it to be good. I was just kind of like, I could really go for a burger and some potato salad right now. And I had some other people say the same thing. I don't know, maybe it's just a beach thing that I didn't want like, I don't know, didn't want spicy Caribbean food at that moment, but it was really, really beautiful at Bimini. So let's talk about the entertainment. This was one area that I was a little bit worried about with my Virgin cruise. Was it going to feel too adult? Was it going to be kind of crass? How would I feel about that? And well, the truth of the matter is there's so much different types of entertainment on Virgin Voyages that you get to pick and choose. I did find that there were some things that were a little bit more on the crass side, and there were some things that just simply weren't. So let's talk about those things. Number one, the sail away party is a must do. There is a secret tip about the sail away party that I'm going to share with you at the end of this video when I give you 5 tips that you really need to know that I just did not know. So hold on for that one, but just make sure you go to that sail away party. Don't miss it. The music is fun. Everybody is into it and it sets the tone. Then we've got to talk about Scarlet Night. If you know anything about Scarlet Night, you know that is a huge big deal on Virgin Voyages. Everyone dresses in red and it is a lot of fun. I was worried that this was going to be some crazy party where I felt really out of place and that it was going to be too wild. And the truth is it can be whatever the heck you want it to be. Just a couple things you need to know. First of all, pack something red. It could be a polo shirt, it could be a dress, it could be a pop of red, it could be red lipstick and some red shoes and a black dress. It can be whatever you want it to be. There is no formal night on Virgin Voyages. So wear some comfy shoes and have some fun with it. The other thing you need to know is that the pool party is something you must attend. The pool party starts at 10:45, and if you do nothing else but wander around on Scarlet Night, which is kind of what I did, I just wandered around and checked everything out. Do not miss the culmination of Scarlet Night, which is the pool party, and that's at 10:45. Some other entertainment that I took advantage of. One of my friends was doing something called Loteria, which is Mexican bingo. It cost $40. I was hesitant to enroll, but I had a little onboard credit, and I thought, why not try one of their signature activities? And it was really, really fun. Now, this was definitely adult humor, big time adult humor, you guys, but it was fun. Until I won the bingo and got called up on the stage for a few embarrassing moments. So just know that if you win, you're probably going to get called up to be asked some questions and be forced to do a little bit of dancing or something like that. But it was fun. And, you know, on Virgin, you end up sort of relaxing into whatever you do. So I had a good time. Some of the shows that I went to, again, this is a 4-night cruise. I didn't get to do all of them, right? The first night I went to the Misbehave show. I got to tell you, I didn't care for it. There were probably hundreds and hundreds of F-bombs in it that just didn't have to be there for it to be funny and entertaining, and it just wasn't my favorite thing. The other show that I went to a little bit later in the cruise that I absolutely loved was called the Untitled Dance Party something. I don't remember, but it's all kind of run together into one word, just like that. This is an amazing show that culminates in the Red Room. The Red Room is a multi-purpose room that can be changed for a number of different things. And this was a lot of fun. So if you're okay with standing up during a performance, just trust me and go to the Untitled Dance Party thing. Then, of course, my favorite Virgin Voyages show is Dual Reality. Dual Reality is also held in the Red Room, but in a totally different configuration than you saw with the other show. And it's like a Romeo and Juliet, West Side Story kind of a theme. And I still believe that this is one of the absolute best shows at sea. And I have to tell you, I loved it. I've seen it twice now. I was on a preview one-day sailing where I got to see it a few years ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I think that there's something for everyone on Virgin with the entertainment. Just ask around based on your tastes and see what is right for you. If you want to go totally adult, be up until all hours of the night and not wake up until noon, you can do that. If you want to be a little bit more of like a grandma like me and play it a little more chill and spend time in your hammock and kind of, you know, check out the entertainment, but not get super into the party angle, you guys, you can totally do that. This leads me to my verdict about Virgin Voyages. How did it really work for me? Did I like it? Was it for me? And the truth is, I actually found it really relaxing. I didn't feel old. In fact, I felt like most of the people were at or above my age. There were 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 70-year-olds, and 80-year-olds on this ship. It was a very diverse demographic. I think on weekend cruises, the demographic probably skews younger, but I was on a midweek 4-night cruise. Now, the other question I asked myself is, was I going to feel uncool? I don't think anyone could feel uncool on Virgin Voyages. It's really very accepting. From the moment you walk on, you are just made to feel like you can come as you are. Whoever you are is going to be embraced, and there is something about that that kind of stirred my senses. I loved it. And for someone who's been on 50 cruises, it was exciting to experience new and very different things in a different environment. And of course, you guys, the food was absolutely excellent. So that's my verdict on the cruise. And here's 5 things that I learned. Number 1, you do not need luggage tags on Virgin Voyages. When you get to the port, they're going to help you out. They're going to give you luggage tags, and you don't need to prepare those in any way, shape, or form. Another thing you need to know is that embarkation happens really late on Virgin Voyages. It is not one of those cruise embarkation days where you can arrive to the port at 10 a.m. You are not going to get on that ship until at least 1:30 p.m. So be very cognizant of your arrival time and find something else to do in your port of embarkation. That's important to know. Another tip you need to know is there is free champagne at the sail away party. Watch for it. It goes fast. A lot of people say they grab a couple glasses and chugged it down and enjoyed it because there's no drink packages on Virgin Voyages. It's really good champagne, so I do recommend that you take advantage of it. Another tip. Scarlet Night. Let's talk about it. What should you wear? Well, it's really great to pack something red for Scarlet Night, but it doesn't have to be something fancy, you guys. You're going to feel super comfortable in a red t-shirt. You're going to be super comfortable in a red cocktail dress. You could wear a crazy sequined suit. You know what? you can do whatever the heck you want. Just remember what I said earlier. Remember that Scarlet Night ends at the pool. If you think you might want to have something to do with this pool party, wear something you'd feel comfortable getting wet, at least from the knees down, and wear really comfortable shoes. What I'm trying to say is, ladies, you may not want to wear a really long dress if you want to like dip your ankles in the pool. And again, go with cozy shoes that you can take off quickly. All right, last thing you need to know is the galley. As I mentioned earlier, it is not a buffet restaurant, but it's kind of cooler. It's a little bit busy up there during those peak times, but here's what you need to know. Here's the secret tip. You actually don't need to wait in line for anything. Go sit at a table and put the little flag up at your table, and a server will come take your order. Don't stand in line. It's so wild how many people did not know that when I was on the ship. Next, remember, all of those restaurants are included in your cruise fare, and lots of them are the caliber that you consider specialty. Think steakhouse, Italian, Korean barbecue. It's all included in your cruise fare. So take advantage of it, you guys, and make those reservations super early. Another thing that's so awesome about Virgin is that gratuities are totally included in the cruise. And I really hope that this is a direction that the cruise industry is going, because it was so nice to have the gratuities all taken care of. All right, you guys, those are my thoughts. I have tons more resources for you, though. I've got an Amazon shopping list just for Virgin Voyages cruises. Lots of redwear and other just practical things that you need to know about. I also filmed a pack with me video before I went on this cruise that you can watch to see what I took. And I have lots of YouTube shorts and Instagram reels showing my actual experience, as well as 2 podcast episodes reviewing my experience, and my friend, Dr. Paul Thornton, who came onto the show months ago and reviewed his transatlantic. So lots more for you to check out. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any thoughts about Virgin Voyages, or if you're going on a Virgin cruise, or if you have tips and tricks, leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you on the high seas.